I guess we could start with Eberle. He went from the first to the third line. What's sort of the rationale behind that?
Just shuffling things around. We've only scored 1 or 2 goals 5-on-5 over the last 3 or 4 games. Had very few chances last night, and we can analyze and talk about it any way we want. We can react to it any way we want. When it was all said and done, a really good team beat us because they absolutely outworked us and all over the rink, and that's what it comes down to.
Was today's practice a little bit about learning to get back to work?
Yeah, it was. It wasn't long, but it was a workmanlike practice. It was areas of the game that we didn't want to or decided not to work in yesterday, and the difference was they did, and it showed, and 3-1 flattered us.
Yeah, really scored a lot of goals in the past, and here he is on a line with the NHL assist leader, and he can't. What's he not doing right, or what's not?
You're talking about Jordan and his ability to finish right now?
Yeah.
Well,
is there more to it than that?
Well, goals are hard to come by for anybody in the league right now. There's comparisons to be made. You can talk about Austin Matthews and Liney's 20, or you can talk about some others. I think Patrick Bergeron is might be a Hall of Fame player, but it's not going in for him as much as he'd like. And when that happens, you have to be able to find ways to contribute to the team's success outside of that element. And, Jordan is doing it some nights, other nights he's not. Players that are used to scoring on a regular basis, and then when it goes dry, they haven't experienced it as often, so they're not sure how to react. And we want a full game from Jordan right now. The goals will come eventually, but just a full game from him.
Todd, you mentioned work a little bit, work ethic in comparison to Columbus. If the club's work ethic is there, are they more than capable of playing at Columbus's level, or is there another tier in terms of meshing together?
I think they're at another tier right now. You don't win 16 games and beat a variety of teams. They beat fast teams, they beat physical teams, they've won on the road, they've won at home, they've come from behind, they've won big. They're hammering it in all cylinders. So to get to their level, you have to be at your best. Every single player has to be at their best. And then you have to execute your game plan to a T. And, you do that for one night. They've done it for 16 nights in a row. So they're at another level right now. And it's not just comparing our team to them. There's teams around the league that have lined up to them, and it's happened. They've scored 10 on teams. They're just that good right now.
What has McLellan been to this team, both on the ice, but also in terms of sort of being a guy who has the experience, who's won a cup, who brings that to a younger team?
Well, it's I'm going to tell you everything you know about him already because you've been around him, and we've all been around him long enough to know that off the ice he has a veteran presence, a presence of a winner, somebody that's experienced working his way to the championship within a team environment. So that's real valuable. Looks after his teammates fairly well, and he has a voice, and that's real important for our team. On the ice, his size and his presence again. There's nights where he maybe doesn't score or isn't quite as polished, but just that alone opens up space for his teammates. I found him to be really strong in and around the net, rebounds, screens, tip-ins, that type of stuff. It hasn't been easy for him either. He's come to a new team and a new environment. It's a little bit different in Edmonton than it would be in LA, and maybe not so much Boston, but and he's adjusting to that. So he's done a real good job. He and his family have fit our family well, and we're happy to have him.
Todd, you look at Lucic, Matthew Benning, and even to a smaller extent Eric Gryba, who Peter Chiarelli would have scouted here at Boston University. Do you see any of Chiarelli's Boston influences shining on your team now and how it's being built?
I think you always have that. When you leave an organization, Peter or anybody else, when you leave and go to another one, you don't just erase everything and have it disappear. You have a belief system that led you to a Stanley Cup championship here in Boston, and you believe that you can carry that on with other organizations. You adapt and change over time, and we're all doing that, whether we're coaches or managers, but you can definitely see Peter's influence and feel it. And the players that he brought in and continues to bring in are expected to play a certain way and contribute a certain way, and they know that. The answer to that question is definitely.
You go to a new team, it's not always easy to be sort of vocal in the room.
And that's a little bit what I'm talking about. It's hard to, it's easy to blend in. It's hard to be the alpha right off the bat because you've got to find your own way. You've got to find your game. It's not easy to bark when you've got your B game. I watched Steve Yzerman step up and take control of a team once. It was amazing how much impact he had. But you've been there for 19 years or 20 years. So Luch is finding his way in our locker room and with our team, and our team's trying to adapt to him as well. And I think as time goes on, it gets easier and easier.